Some people will leave the Matrix and others won't even know that it's an option. Hi, my name is Araya, and I currently live on this horse farm and animal rescue here in Italy with my dog Arlo and our growing little zoo. I love to share about spirituality and wellness, travel and my van adventures, and living a life without limitation or fear of what others think. I live in this glamping tent on the farm now, and when I arrived to Italy, it was my dream to find a home base. Now that we have one, it kind of feels like the adventure has just begun. So thank you to my subscribers, clients, and Patreon supporters for making this dream possible. Hello from Italy. This beautiful, beautiful sunset. This is, oh, you guys, I don't know if you've seen baby Forse. Not that much, at least. This is the baby that we just had. Maisie had her, but that was just born 2 months ago. Like a day before Aslan. Aslan is over here. I know, criminal. I understand. Yes. Hello. Oh, my little baby. Many, many, many people are following this person sailing with Phoenix. And I say this as my first example because I think it's a really fascinating story. It's really interesting how quickly this person's, I don't know his name, but this person's Instagram, I know he's on other platforms, but how quickly it like blew up. When I followed him like a month ago or less, maybe like 2 weeks ago, he was at like 600,000. Now he's at 1.5 million. And pretty much the past 3 weeks, he's been sailing from the west coast of the United States to, I think it was Oregon, to Hawaii by himself in this little sailboat. And with his cat. Also, we got Duchess here. Planning world domination. And he posted this video on accident where he was working for like a car related company, and it was pretty much saying that he didn't want to work for them anymore, that he wanted to like leave the system and really wanted to sail the world, like that was his dream. And by divine intervention, from my understanding of the story, he accidentally clicked post twice and then pretty much got fired. And then now he's sailing the world and gets to do what he loves and has this like large audience of people celebrating his wins. Why are there so many people celebrating the wins? There are so many people celebrating the win because they feel a part of themselves in his story, but not everyone realizes how possible it is for them to leave the system and to find freedom for themselves. And so many people have been like very, not, how do I say this? Very well conditioned to stay in this 3D controlled mindset of needing someone else, something else to take care of them that is outside of themselves, that is not unconditional, that is very conditional. And the trade-off is not having to worry about, health insurance and blah, blah, even though you still have to pay so much for health insurance, even when it's covered by your company. I don't understand the whole system in the United States. Here it's different. In Italy, it's very different. But on this boat experience, he's had many things go wrong. There are many problems to solve. No one's solving them for him. If he doesn't solve them, he sinks. However, he's very alive. He's very divinely guided to look at the screws, happen to look at the screws, and like these things are coming undone. And then he's like, oh, I gotta fix this, otherwise I'm gonna start taking on water. Like things like that. It's all divinely guided because he's in alignment, because he's left the system and he gets to live. Like he's living. But living doesn't mean perfect. You guys, if you watch my videos, you might know that my van door driving the other day just opened, and it just opens now. And I'm like, okay, so I've been studying latches. I live on this farm here, and we had a mercury issue in the water, which I've tested multiple times, and I've never seen anything. I've been using these test strips, and never with the sample before they changed the water, with the new water they were bringing, we just switched back because all of these tests are saying like we're fine, so it's also saying we're fine. Very interesting. But also, again, that thing of like needing something. They're providing water to us. A lot of you guys are saying, get out of Europe, because they're preparing us, they're conditioning us for this big change that's coming. So I had to take out my water tank, and I had to then figure out how to empty my gray water tank, or my freshwater tank, and it couldn't, because there's like this lip thing. It's like impossible to empty it, so I had to drill a hole, and like I was, then I almost had to like cut the pipe, and all these things. I'm having to figure things out, and I was like, why? For a moment, when I was driving yesterday, my van was opening, the door was opening, I was like, why am I doing this? I was like, I don't want to be doing this. I was like, what do I want to be doing then? Do I want to go home to California? And part of me was like, yes. The other part of me was like, no, you don't. Like, if you went back to how things were before and you just got a job again, nothing's wrong with it. Like, I admire so many of my friends who are very hard workers, who really get to like enjoy other beautiful things because they're in that frame. And it's really, really admirable. And it must be nice to not be so called to this like Scorpio North Node that I have, which is just like I want to sail to Hawaii from the West Coast, like with all my animals. Like, that's something that I'm considering. Not that specific crossing, but something similar. And so in this lifestyle outside of the matrix, right? We'll call it the matrix, outside of this hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it. There are still going to be problems, but you're going to be so alive that you are like, you're in a different reality. The reason why some people don't leave is because they're just in a completely different reality. When you step into this new reality, it's like you don't see the same people anymore. You start running into new people all the time, or like coming across them online or whatever. But they, it's because they're in this other reality. You literally go to a different world on planet Earth. And so some people just don't open that door for themselves. Some people see the content and they're like, something's alive in me. I'm feeling something in my heart. What is it? And they're like, oh, let's just scroll and never remember or acknowledge what that was. But I'll come back tomorrow and I'll watch this content and I'll just feel this like... I know this is weird, but it's what I'm being guided to do. I just feel this like this spark of something. For some reason, I'm curious about this. No, I can't. I have this and that and this and that and this and that, and my gym membership and my 401k and like all these things. It's such an interesting thing. When I was studying my latch of my working door, which used to be my broken door, then I sprayed both with WD-40, and the broken door became the working door, and the working door became the broken door. I don't know. So I'm studying the ex-broken door, now working door, and I'm just watching the latch. Opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing, and just observing how a latch works. And I haven't been that like focused on something in the like real perceived reality rather than like online. I am a digital wizard. Like, there are people that are way better than me, but like I've had Amazon companies, I've had Etsy companies, I do graphic design, I do video editing, like nothing like super well, but I understand the online world really well. I know marketing, I know all these things. I understand health too, but a lot of the health stuff I learn through the computer. And like I'm a 4-1 in human design, so the 1 is an investigator. So I'm a big investigator, but I haven't done a lot of investigating in the real world, like this, like latches. And so because I've left this system and I've chosen to do this weird life of living in a tent in a van with all these animals and like traveling in foreign countries and lands, I am in these positions where, you know, I'm in foreign lands and I can't speak the language of all these mechanics and I don't understand how to get inspections, blah, blah, blah. So I have been led to have to do this in order for me to live the life that I want, which is I want to go to Norway soon. I have to figure out how this damn latch works so that I can get the inspection pass. And these are things that you just have to do. Like, this guy had to figure out his boat, otherwise it would sink. And so you're forced to be in this reality, but I'm being guided and I'm like pulling these things out of like where did this like idea come from? Like, cut off this piece of plastic, scrape that a little bit, flick that a little bit, and then it pops out and then it starts working. And when we start asking the right questions, we start receiving the answers that we've been needing. And so maybe you just haven't been asking yourself the right question. It's not, why does he have this life and I can't have this life? Well, maybe that actually would give you the right answer. Or why does she get to live this way and I can't? But it's more so, how can I make this reality possible for me? Or what is that feeling that I get when I watch these people online, or when I get really inspired by this book or this TV show or this like art or this music? Why am I feeling that like, why am I feeling that curiosity? That it's because it's your breadcrumb. And so ask yourself, why am I being guided to this? What is holding me back from exploring this further? What do I need to let go of in order? This is interesting because it's a new moon right now, so maybe you need to write these down. What do I need to let go of in order for me to be able to step into this next version of me? Who do I need to become in order to live the life that I want? What's not serving me? What job is not serving me? What person is not serving me? What diet is not serving me? What habit is not serving me? How does my future version show up every single day? How do they wake up in the morning? What do they think about right when they wake up? What do they do? Do they check their phone? Do they stretch? Do they go outside? Do they drink coffee? Do they walk? What do they do? How do they handle conflict? How do they handle people like having a bunch of drama? How do they handle, miscommunications? How do they handle looking in the mirror? How do they handle, trusting themselves? I think that's like the biggest part too, is like, how do you trust yourself in that timeline, in that exiting the matrix future version of yourself? How do you trust yourself? Like, how do you prove to yourself that you're trustworthy? What do you follow through on? What do you have the courage to do? For me, it was something so simple, which always blows my mind, is just, I finished a workout class. I had a great morning. I went on a walk with my dog. I did meditation, had a workout class, sitting by the pool. I went to Lifetime Gym. It was so nice, so luxury. My Taurus South Node, I was talking about this in the last video of like me, I really like luxury. I love like novelty and hard things too, like, because my North Node is Scorpio, and that's like your life path. That's like, how this life is going to be. And it's known that your South Node is like how your previous life was. And so the Taurus, Scorpio, it's like whichever are directly across from each other on the birth chart. So the Taurus South Node combination is very difficult, because South Node in Taurus, just like, you have this remembrance of all the rescue dogs here, of luxury. And so I really enjoyed my Lifetime Fitness bougie lifestyle, but something was missing. And so anyway, I was sitting by the pool and I was like, let's just look at plane tickets, right? Let's just look at Italy. We do this every few days. We plan our trip. We literally make a whole itinerary. We have a whole folder on Airbnb. Like, we just never do it. We as in me and all parts of me. And Arlo. No, he didn't really have any part of the planning. And so I just looked at the ticket, and then I got real with myself. Like, what I'm saying you have to do, right? You don't have to do anything, but what might help you is getting really honest with yourself. Something smacked me in the face and was like, are you ever going to do it, bitch? Like, are you really ever going to do it? Or are you just going to look at this ticket and just say, maybe next time? This guy who sailing with Phoenix, okay, this is a great topic. Either you make the decision to go after the life that you want, or eventually through all the balancing forces and all the conditionings and all the everything, all the chaos, well, through all this everything, the chaos will come and it will shake things up for you. And you will be divinely guided, and there will be divine intervention that will cause that decision to be made. So in my situation with buying the plane ticket, it was very strange to me because usually I would wait for the divine intervention or the chaos. Like in all past relationships, I would just wait till the very last moment or hanging on by a thread. And I knew, well, I was too really young and brainwashed by I dated an actual narcissist. I know people throw that word out there, but I was with 3 years with a narcissist, and it's called being in a cult of one. It really messed me up, but it taught me so much. And it's really it was a karmic lesson that I think my soul really agreed to have in order to learn self-worth, in order to discover my truth and my value and my voice. But I was probably never going to leave that relationship because I was so deep. I was so deep in there. He was my only thing, my lifeline and my destroyer, and then my lifeline and my destroyer. He would beat me down, not physically, but emotionally. And I didn't want to tell anybody, so I would just go to him for emotional support. And so it was this cycle where I, cut everyone out of my life, and not cut them out of my life, but I'd push everyone away because I neglected everyone, because that's what happens when you're in that kind of dynamic. I didn't have the courage to leave. I don't even know if it's courage. I didn't have the sight to leave. And divine intervention came in and gave me a job opportunity in Mexico. It was get on a boat, girl, and get out of the country. And that made him say, I've never loved you. I don't care about you. And I was like, oh, that's heartbreaking, but I at least am going to Mexico. And so sometimes that will happen. Oftentimes that will eventually happen. You can't live in this life that's not meant for you for very long. It will shake things up and it will bring you on the right path. But then you always come to the point where you have the option to choose. You can go back to the pattern, or you can go to the new life that is free of the pattern. The new life that is free of the pattern will challenge you in so many new ways. When I first got the van in Europe, I had so many mental breakdowns because I would have van breakdowns in foreign lands, and it was scary. And I didn't know, I would, in those moments, I would lose sight of my divine guidance. And I was broken down. This is such a perfect example. You will be okay when you leave the system. You will be so supported. You will accidentally see the thing that is wiggling loose. For me, I was driving in Spain, and I left a paid campsite, and then I was like, oh, I need to do my water tanks. Or I think that's what it was. And then I found this thing on Park for Night. It was a free place, and it had water. It had everything that you needed. So I pull into the parking spot, perfectly put myself in the parking spot after I did the tanks. So I did the tanks, pulled into the parking spot, just chill, put in my maps where I was going. And then my van broke down. It just did not start anymore. I was in a perfect parking spot in a place that I was legally allowed to park, that had everything that I needed. It even had a grocery store right there. It had laundry, really nice laundry machines in the grocery store. It had a beautiful beach walk. It had it was one of the nicest free places that I had ever stayed. And then I was still, panicked because I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't speak French. My insurance isn't French. They always hang up on me whenever I ask if someone can speak English with me. And then I was in Spain, and I barely speak Spanish, and all these things. This person who was staying next to me, at first, he was walking back and forth, this older man. It was a couple, this older man and this woman. And the older man kept walking back and forth, and I was on the phone with my brother, who was kind of helping me. and I was like, I don't know what this man is doing. Is he going to kill me? All this stuff. My nervous system was so dysregulated. And then he finally approached me, and he didn't speak English, but he spoke Spanish and French. And so he ended up calling my French insurance company and telling them what happened, getting me a tow truck. He happened to know a mechanic down the road spoke Spanish to them, called them, made an appointment, got my van towed by my insurance company. They hired a tow. He talked with the tow truck driver. They came, they got the van. He drove me to the mechanic in his car, and he also had a motorhome. They offered for me to stay in their motorhome. Like, they were such nice, kind people, which I'm just not used to strangers being like that. It was just foreign to me. I've just never had an experience like that. And they were very trustworthy from my whole, in hindsight, my whole experience with them. And it worked. They fixed the van. I drove off into the sunset. Everything is fine. Yes, when you leave this life that you have perceived and you go into the next timeline of exiting the matrix, you leave the system, you leave the comforts, you leave everything that was familiar. You are going to face these things that are going to scare the shit out of you sometimes. But with every problem, there is a solution. And most people will never leave because they are too afraid to confront the fear of what will happen when they do. When you confront the fear, all you have to do is bring to the table, with the fears at the table, you bring to the table your complete knowingness and the oneness that we all are, your complete knowingness in the divine guidance that is a part of you, that is never separate from you, that you came to earth with this divine guidance, that your knowingness in every problem there is a solution, that you are, if you are divinely guided, if your joy and your curiosity are breadcrumbing you and guiding you to this life that you are going to go to, you know you are going to be completely fine, completely supported, and anything that happens on that path, that's God's will. That's what was meant to happen in your life. And so you can surrender, and all you got to do is follow. You just got to follow the breadcrumbs. And you say to that fear, you say, I know you're going to be here, but you're going in the back seat. Okay? You're going in the back seat, and I'm going to take over here. And you got to tell yourself, I'm capable. I'm capable of learning new things. It's like anyone can learn. I can learn latches. I don't want to, really, but I have found that even as I push through that, I don't want to. I want to be a little princess. Like, when I push through and I fix it, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, I actually really enjoyed that. And so, follow what you're being guided to. Trust yourself to follow. That unconventional life, maybe it's not even that unconventional, that uncontrolled, that unrestricted life that you are desiring, wherever that might be, with whoever that might be, in whatever form of yourself that might be, energy of yourself that might be, it's meant for you. It's available to you. It's waiting there for you. The thing that I wanted to say about sailing with Phoenix is that when I observe his story, it's spectacular. Like, it is incredible what he's done. I can't imagine, you have to really learn so much in order to be able to do a crossing like that. What I want to say with that is that people do it all the time, right? There are many people who do it all the time. We have the luxury of him documenting this and people documenting their stories like this to show us what's possible. But I want to say that because it's not like it was rocket science. Like, you are capable of doing that in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like, he committed to it. He learned, he refurbished, he redid his boat in all the ways that needed to be fixed, and he went for it. And he trusted his vision. He had a vision and he held on to it. And so for you, it's the same thing. You're capable. I'm trying to give your mind evidence that you are capable of whatever it is. Even if it was rocket science, you could go become a rocket scientist. Like, whoever told you couldn't, why are you letting them control your life? Why are you letting that person, that story, limit you from the life that you want to live? Observe that feeling and follow it. And you will exit the matrix. And you will have a life of living. And it will be full of surprises. And at times you might be like, am I a crazy person? But that's the conditioning. That's one of the balancing forces that has kept people so limited, is because you do that crazy thing, You're like, am I a crazy person? And then you might start to doubt yourself. But this sailing with Phoenix guy, he says it all the time. He's like, yeah, I'm a crazy person. Like this crazy little baby horse. Woohoo! He's so fast. Oh my goodness, again. Sorry, I have to show you guys this. And we got Osna. Yes. Maybe you should go for it. The world is changing. There's never been a better time than now. Everything will support you. So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. If you don't know what to say and you want to leave a little comment, you can put a horse emoji for baby horse. Look at that sunset. And Mama's running after her. She's like, my God, I'm just trying to enjoy this sunset. My child. We have Liam, who's one of our rescues, who loves that baby. And we have Kalinki, who is an escape artist. And who's next? Monkey? We got Monkey. He's got some kind of arthritis. We got Harry, ex-racehorse. Ted, ex-racehorse. These two are soulmates. They are forever in love. The moment that they met was like they were reunited. Thank you guys for being here on this wild, wild ride. I'm so excited for whatever is next. And if you want to sign up for my women's retreat or apply, I have that linked below. It'll be here in the fall. I will be coming back here for the retreat after going to Norway once I get my van sorted. And I have my program Decondition. If you can't come to the retreat, Decondition is like that similar energy. It's all about deconditioning the mind so that you can just live the life that you want. I think that's like my message here on Earth. That's why I came to this strange planet, is to remind everybody that you can live the life that you want. So I put it all into 12 weeks, which is a great time for like really, really, really practicing and committing to retraining those neural pathways. And I also have 21 days to rewire your mind and 21 days to know your divine guidance, which I recommend in those order. With that being said, I'm going to go cozy up in my glamping tent with my little babies. Bye.